Well, today I want to cover one of the greatest things I've used for UI. Today we're going to cover the addition of rich text tables in your projects. We're going to start out by creating a new UI control node that's a rich text table node, and we're just going to rename this to example rich text table. We're going to keep this within our typical file directory, so underneath UI, we're going to insert this. And within this rich text table, we're going to have a couple properties that we're going to make use of. One is we can see BBC enabled. We're going to enable this because this is going to allow us to use different keywords to be able to do various things to our text. Secondly, I'm going to go through the filter properties, and we are going to go to size, and we're going to resize this within the layout transform. We're going to resize this to be 256 by 256, and we're going to just resize this briefly. We're going to remove that property, and we're going to go back to the text window. We're going to start out by just putting in some example text, just some random example text. And we're going to start messing around with some of these BB codes. We're going to start by using a font property, so we can actually assign different fonts. So I've brought in a couple of fonts that I have in a separate project. We have Roboto Black here and Roboto Bold. So we're going to start out by assigning Roboto Black to our random example text. So this is going to use a file path. So when we assign this, we're going to start in the res folder. We're going to go into the fonts folder and essentially just assign Roboto Bold TTF. And you can see here that we've actually had a change in text. If we remove this little tag, you can see the various properties. We can actually also assign this to Roboto Black. If we change this back to bold, make this very quick. So bold, black, bold, black. We can see that these fonts change. We can even do even some crazier things. We can do stuff like colors. We have color tags. This is starting out as white, so let's make this inverted. So let's do black. So simply by adding the color tag, we can actually set this to black. So 00 RGB channels, so we can actually change, like, for example, the green channel and set this to FF. So now we have pure green, even blue channels. So now we have cyan, so green and blue make cyan. We can do some fancy things. So for example, we can even combine these. But before we even get to combining, we're going to discuss very briefly the importance of this ordering. So we're going to add /font here because to end any BB code association, we do /font. But you'll see over here that /font actually appears. That's because in the ordering of your BB codes, it actually has to go. So we start off with font, and then we do color. It needs to go in the reverse order that we've added. So if we're going font color, after we've finished where we need to go, we need to do /color, and then /font to basically do the reverse ordering of tags. So we have color, font is on the outer side, font is on the other side. It's kind of like order of operations. And we're going to add some extra text. We're going to start a new line, so some random extra text. And we can get kind of fancy with this. We can, for example, we'll just copy the font and change this one to be bold. So now we kind of have two separate. In fact, we can actually take this a step further. We have bold and black. You can see already that there's a little bit of a difference in lengths. That's because they're two separate fonts. We can actually change the colors, so we can actually do a different color for this line. Let's say we do, let's just make this red, so 00 FF0000, and we've got red text up here now. We can even change font sizes. So we have color. We can actually do bracket font size equals, let's make this one a little bit larger, so we'll do 36. Now we have some much larger text. And just as good practice, I always go and add the end tags, just because it makes it easier in case I ever happen to be changing things. So we remove the color, and then we remove the font. So we've removed in the exact opposite order. So we started font size, color, color, font, font. But here's where it gets very interesting. So we can take this even a step further. So right here, we're messing around with fonts and text. We can take this to a whole nother level where we actually start using images. So we're gonna have two separate tags. This is IMG for image. I've imported already one of the emotes I've made for my Twitch stream. For those of you that don't know, I happen to make my own emotes and stuff, so I've actually imported this. And I make extensive use of rich text labels using Twitch emotes for chat messages that I displayed. So we can actually access these textures right in our rich text labels, so we don't need to make a whole separate image. We can actually access these. So just like our fonts, we can do res as the folder. So we're going to set image equal to res. Sorry, we're going to place the folder path in between the image. So we have res textures rainbow l.png, and you can see that this added a scroll bar. If we scroll super far out and we resize this, we actually have our little image. And if we say, for example, move the red text below it, we can see that we now have blue text above, which is because our blue text is first. Then we have our little image on a separate line. Then we have our red text at the very bottom. But we can even take this a step further. So this image is wildly disproportionate with our text. So we can actually resize this. So within the image tag, we can actually assign things like dimensions. We can do 18. This assign like for this particular case, I had assigned it 18. What this does is a uniform scale, so we can actually make this up to like 36, for example. But you can actually also do like 36 times 48. So now it makes a distorted image, and to see this even more, we can do like 36 by 200. Maybe we want the width to be 100 instead. So we can kind of actually start to distort these various images. And these are very efficient ways to be able to alter text and keep things basically in a super efficient layout. And we can even put these on the same line, so we can combine all of these. So now everything is on the same line, and I would actually resize this so it's kind of like in line with everything else. So we say 24. Maybe let's reduce this font size back down to like 24. So it's kind of, you know, somewhat aligned. But this is showing the extent of powerful uses of the rich text label. I'll put a link down below in the Godot documents to the rich text label and the BB codes. There's tons of them. There's all kinds of BB codes you can use to mess around with. Colors, outlines, font sizes, fonts, images. The world is your oyster. So hopefully this is a cool introduction to making extensive uses of rich text labels, and hopefully this helps you in your Godot adventures. Cheers, dudes.